everyone and their brother was playing Smash. So hopefully the novelty of that is worn off a little bit, and so the stream is more stable this time, or at least Twitch is more stable this time. That would be nice. And again, that might have had something to do with me, like, nope, I didn't get that converter in all the way. That's not helpful at all. There. So while the vintage Parker pens do take modern Parker converters, the fit isn't as good. So you gotta shove it a little bit. Did I get? There we are. To make sure it clicks. Kind of like a cartridge. Which I mean is good. That means you have a good tight seal. But yeah. Put this off to the side somewhere, I guess. There. Okay, we got our pens. Oh no, looks like Twitch dropped. Cool. Or something dropped. Or people just ditched. Where's my stuff? Here's my stuff over here. I don't see a reconnecting, so that's just Twitch. Seems like every 2 minutes I'm getting a little bit of dropped frames, but it's not terrible. It should be enough that you are not affected on your side of the stream. Okay. Pencil. Oh, I need to sharpen that. So, gonna move this over to the side while I sharpen. It's yield classroom friendly. I know this doesn't look very dull, but it's dull enough for like I need it to be super sharp to be able to fit all the writing I need to in the spots that I need to fit it. Because I need to write tiny. Earthquake from... You can tell my webcam is not on a boom arm. There we are. A lot better. Okay. Yep, more dropped frames. Again, every couple minutes there's a little bit of dropped frames, but at least I'm not disconnecting. Now, what am I doing? I still need to do the... Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to run MooBot. I knew I was forgetting something in my whole, like, setup. MooBot's very important. Got a stable stream. Run command. Ta-da. Okay, now we can get to actually writing. I always just like to have that message up there because I know there are people that, like, Twitch's UI is not totally intuitive for, like, doing the following and subscribing and all that. Like, to watch videos, cool, you click on it, but all the rest of the stuff is just like, what? So I like to have that little instruction thing up there for people. So right away I can say that this feels a little bit drier than the other Jacques Herbin inks, but honestly I can't tell you if that's because it's actually drier than all the other ones, or just the more recent ones I've gone through have been so wet that this is actually just like returning to normal of the earlier ones that I reviewed. It could also be that it is a little lighter, so I'm just like have an instinct to want to press harder to put more ink on the page to just get it darker. Can't tell you which. It's a very pretty gray though. It's a very, very pretty gray. Probably one of the prettier grays I've used. I do like it better than... It's actually... So it's right next... I have it right next to Diamine Earl Grey. Diamine Earl Grey was a little dark for me when I reviewed it. And then also it's kind of with Oyster Grey. Oyster Grey, you can see here, is a little bit more of a warm tint, or like greenish tint. I'd say warmer, versus Earl Grey's cooler. This feels a little bit on the cool side, but more just like neutral gray. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe Oyster Grey is the neutral one, and this is a cool gray, and Kirasami is a warm gray. That's what that looks like. Kirasami is still my favorite gray. But this is a good one. Like I said, I like it. Earl Grey was a little bit too dark for me from where grays go. And had a little bit, there's like a little bit of purple undertone to Earl Grey that I'm not seeing here. Even though on the swap they look fairly similar. In writing there's like some sort of purpley thing going on with the Earl Grey. Hey, Becky. Yep, still pretty gray. I'm also confused. So the article I'm transcribing today is about there was a really big power outage in the main downtown city of Atlanta. I'm not in the city limits, so I was not affected, but it was a big one. And there's a line in here about like how water loss is being contributed to an agreement to fix the sewer system. I'm very confused. Like, did they not do a good job, like, patching things? Are they causing leaks? I'm just like, that statement doesn't make sense. Oh, okay. So the agreement with the federal government that forced all this thing that's being blamed was specifically to upgrade the sewer system. So it forced the city of Atlanta to pay money to the sewer system upgrading, which was at the expense of the water supply system, which is separate in like budget terms. So what happened was, oh, so we're spending all this money upgrading the sewer system, but in the meantime, the water supply system is breaking. That makes more sense. Eep. I'm just knocking everything down. This is fine. Yeah, no, so far this is just a good gray. There's not really a lot of interesting shading or anything going on. It's just gray. Which is kind of standard for all of these inks so far. They've been like, basically like, we have made a really good, well-performing ink in kind of a rainbow of like basic colors. I mean, the line's called Les Essentiels, which is the essentials. Some of them are standouts, like the red is a standout, like that's like a really good red, but like they're not doing any weird shading, or they're not doing any weird sheen. None of them have sheen. They're not doing a whole lot of shading. They like maybe a little bit, but they're not like super shaders. They're just really good colors and well-performing inks. I just realized my nails match the ink. I mean, my nails have sparkle in them, so that part doesn't match. But the base color matches pretty well. Like, look at that. Look at that. Unintentional coordination. Let's get you a close-up of what this looks like, sort of, is best. I mean, that's not the greatest clarity and color, but you can see that it's just like a good gray. There is some shading from the wet pen, but everything else is just good. Yep, just pretty. If this was easy to get in the US, I would definitely, this is something I would consider getting a bottle of. I definitely want to hunt down a bottle of that red. I might ask Jim to mule some for me, actually, since he's going to be passing through Paris. No, didn't he fly out today? I can't text him. because that means he's in Lebanon. He is on Slack. I'll message him on Slack. Be like, hey, if you're going to get some of those Jacques Herbin inks anyway, can you pick me up a bottle of that red? Because it's such a good red. Yep. I'll message him on there or Discord. He tends to check Slack more often these days, so I'll just message him on Slack. Because he won't get that text about muling until he's back in the US, which defeats the point. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now we get to see what the damage is. This actually is pretty good in terms of like the feathering and stuff on the terrible paper. So let's see what the bleed through looks like. Some of the more recent ones have been terrible. Yeah, it's not bad. That's pretty darn good. Okay, cool. So that's not bad at all. Right. Simultaneous email and text. That's fun. Yeah. So I'm gonna put this over to the side. Let's see who texted me. Oh, it was not a text. It was Twitch recognizing that I indeed am live. Manage my thing from my phone. Okay, so I need to pee real quick, so I'm going to throw up the BRB thing. Okay, I'm back. Let's just wait for everything to get there. So I'm done with these, with the Gris de Houle. So now we're doing pen cleaning. Set this over here so have it available. Somehow everything wiggled slightly out of shape. Stay. Okie dokie. So this one, oh, not a room in that box, gets to go in another box. I got my little trusty ink sample vial holders, so I'm writing down which box this is going in. Box 2, B3. So B, letters, numbers, so that way if I want to fill it, or if I'm looking for where the sample is, Like, usually how I fill my pens or like decide what ink I want is I go through the swabs and see what speaks to me. So then I can just right away find out where the thing is instead of hunting forever across my several different boxes. Saved me so much grief. Yep, I'm gonna put this to the side because now it is cleaning time. Becky, you probably remember this from when I first started streaming. I cleaned on the stream. So I'm gonna do that again. So here's my towel put down. I'm actually gonna go rinse these off real quick under the sink because that gets a lot of the excess off and makes it less time consuming and less water use in general. So be right back. Here, I bumped it again. Okay, bucket. So this is this is actually the bowl I use for washing knits and tights because I don't run my tights through the washing machine. That's a bad idea. But yeah. So this is the bowl I use to wash yarn and like knit up and hand knits. But I also use it to like for pens because why not? I'll let that sit. Yep, see, this is why I have the towel down. These go up there. I'm gonna need to go run to the bathroom and fill this. This is super exciting, isn't it? Maybe I'll move some of this stuff over a little bit. So I realize, oh, this is the exciting part, is watching me just shoot water through these. I'll probably do this over the bowl in case I spill the water. This is actually coming out clear already. So you see I'm shooting the water against the side of the bowl. That's so I can see what color the water is coming out. It actually, this pen is always the hardest one to clean out of the three of them. It has the stickiest feed, I think. And that came out in 2 flushes. That's good. I need more water in this. Be right back. There we are. This is clean in just like 1 flush. That's impressive. Some of the other ones, like Bleu de Minuit, it was exceptionally sticky. Both the blues were actually very like sticky inks in that they stuck to the feed really well. The advantage is also now they're sitting on paper. I should probably put them in the bucket because that does help. My little bucket of pen parts with the paper towel in it. That's going to be a little bit off screen because I have no more room on camera. Or it could be over here. There. These can go in there. Okay. Just getting a little excess off the tips. Again, I find just doing this little swirling motion helps a lot, get a lot of the excess off, and saves water so you're not burning through as much water. Do a little shake to get it evenly distributed. Yeah, that's just the second fill, and it's just already clean. I'm gonna do a third one just for good measure, but I don't care as much because the next ink is black. So I'm not as worried about like contaminating colors. Okay, you go dry out. Cool. I'm gonna dump the rest of this because I don't want to cross-contaminate. Like a lot of my habits are from science, where I'm like, I don't want to cross-contaminate things. That would be bad. Which in general is usually a good idea. Okay. I'm gonna forever give Brad shit for Brad back in over the Brad Dowdy, ye old pen addict, in case you're watching later and don't know which Brad I'm referring to. Did a cleaning stream with his pens like back in the summer, and he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna like flush with this dirty bowl of water and like not use like fresh and not separate my already flushed through a pen and like clean water supplies. We're just gonna clean with a dirty bowl of water. And I was like, what are you doing? And this made me realize this is why people have problems with flow in their because they have contamination issues because they don't practice proper like cross-contamination safety and all that fun stuff. This might also be why, as of yet, I haven't had any private reserve inks mold, because I just by default practice sterile technique. Whoops. Yeah, he was literally just like flushing like black water back through the pens and be like, cool, it's clean. And I'm like, you have black water sitting in your feed. What are you doing? Yeah. Okay. Cool. And so now we're going to move on to our next one, which is, that is the Waterman converter. That does not go in that one. The converters look very similar, but they do not fit cross. I've tried. So next one is the last in the Jacques Herbin series, and that is the black. And it's a good black, but it's a black. So Jacques Herbin Noir abyssal. So it's like, I would consider like Noodler's black a true black. This has a slightly cool tint to it, but that just makes it seem more like an abyss, because that's what the name means, abyssal black. So it's very, like, it holds up to its name. And this does fit the requirements for most people. When they want a black, they want like a black. They don't want any like shading or anything. They just want like pure darkness going on paper. And I think, at least from the swab, that happened. Jacques Herbin did good, man. All of these inks have been fantastic. Just all of them. Every single one. Like, look at that. That's just like the abyss on my pen. This will actually be the first black ink that goes up on the blog, because I'm not a black ink person. Like, I have a bottle of Noodler's black, but that's because that is like resistant to pretty much all solvents, and so that made a really good lab pen for me. I could like spill DMSO on it and it would be fine. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of blacks. What are the blacks that I even have? Most of them I got from, well, I'll go through that after I finish this last one, so I don't have an open vial sitting there. That's a terrible idea. Okay. Goes off to the side. But yeah, let's go through what blacks I have. I have Night Sky, which is a sparkle one, because I had to get all the sparkle eggs at a time. This one I got a sample or a gift from someone, like random sample. Lipshinger Swartz is actually a very, 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 very dark blue. Like it looks almost black, which is why I have it with the blacks. And then Noir Abyssal, Deatramentus, Archive Black, again, got like a random sample for someone, and Noodler's Black. That's it. I got like 5. So I'm not a black ink aficionado. I can't compare this to other blacks very well. So yeah. Use your own judgment if you are a black ink person and want to know how this one performs, just based off of what I write, how it looks on the page. What is pinging me? Oh yeah, my headphones were delivered. That's good. Yeah, my headphones, I lost my headphones like 2 weeks ago, so I ordered new ones. And sorry. And so the shipping estimate said 5 to 7 business days. But then they said it was going to be delivered, USPS said it was going to be delivered on Friday, which was like 3 business days. And I was like, cool, speedy shipping. But then they didn't get delivered, and I've just sort of been hanging out in Atlanta. Like, they've been hanging out in Atlanta for like 5 days. Like, they got to Atlanta the day after the company shipped them. And then they've just been hanging out. Like, bounced around to the various, like, postal sorting centers. So now they're finally delivered. So now I can actually listen to headphones again. Instead of just speakerphone all the time. That's very nice. Or not speakerphone, but like speaker. You know what I mean. Like, I wouldn't have been as irritated if they just told me, oh, it's going to be delivered like Tuesday or something. Because that made more sense. Like with the shipping times I estimated. But don't tell me like it's going to be delivered Friday, then oops, it's just going to be like hanging out somewhere and then delivered late. Just like, just give me buffer time. I'd prefer that. Where even was I in writing the saga of the water bills? There we are. Oh, jeez. I forgot. Yeah, you did say you have ink earlier. Like, oh, that just sucks. Especially like moving and forwarding mail. God. Yeah, but this time of year I try to avoid shipping anything if I can help it. Because one, it's just like craziness. And two, like they're already dealing with such a high volume of stuff. I'm like, I don't need to add to this unless absolutely necessary. And the headphones were necessary because all the ones available at local stores, which I checked, were expensive for shitty things. And so, yeah. So, yeah, this so far looks like a really good, deep, dark black. And the flow is good. It's a little bit wetter than the gray, but it's not like a super gusher like some of the other inks have been. It seems like a very good, like a good flow. Like the gray was good too. It's just, this is just a touch wetter. Just a touch. Hey, Gabe. um, hmm. I always have things on auto host. I know that there's ways that you can do it in your dashboard and like keyboard shortcuts, but I can't tell you how to host right off the bat. That's called Google. Was it, did you have to do the command in your own channel? That makes sense to me because it would be like, oh, why would you have admin commands in my channel? But you have admin rights in your channel. But yay, you did it. Measure. Ah, okay. So this is just like the regular demo version with the black ends. I looked at the other ones, but like if I'm gonna go a demo pen, I want to go all the way demo, not like translucent color. So there we are. And it's gorgeous, and I love it, and it's really easy to clean because you can just, the nib and feed are friction fit, so I just pop them out, rinse them off, and super easy. Better than the freaking fucking button filler for the, what was it, the Con 70, that, no. So, I would recommend, Gabe, that you keep an eye out, on, I mean, where I got mine was Fountain Pen Geeks Sell Trade. I just kept an eye on that and Lamy 2000 for like a month or a couple weeks, like a couple years ago, and eventually one came up for a good price and I bought it. Because I don't like buying gray market from Japan, especially when a pen like this pen like does exist for realtors, like, or like US realtors, but it's like expensive. So yeah, I bought a gray market. Not gray market, I bought it used. And it works like a treat. Yeah, no. On a stationary stream, never ask someone to show you a close-up of what they're using, because then it makes, the second you do that, that's basically the equivalent of like dipping it in when you're in a shop. It's like, oh, nope, I've committed. I like this. Whoops. There goes my money. I use the pencils for headers. That way it's a standard header for everything. And it allows a comparison point between reviews, so you can look how it all looks compared to the pencil at the top. And also sometimes I fuck up writing the name. So I need the pencil for the erasability. Gabe, you know I like 45s. We've had this discussion before. I mean, you wouldn't be like a Parker 45 addict if you didn't get excited every time you saw a 45. Okay. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, so lighting, this is the best I got because I'm just going to use my daylight. So yeah, this is, um, I got an email. That's my work email, and I'm like, 6:30 is late. So the first ink I did was a gris de houle, and then this is a black. So let's, it's not coming across well because my webcam ain't great. It's good enough for this work. But yeah, it's a really nice dark black. So that's what the swab is. So that's what I'm working with. And yeah, the webcam doesn't, sometimes it does a good job, but sometimes it flounders. This one, so this was the gray that I was doing. And for this one, it's just not doing a good job of capturing the like pitch blackness of it. Well, the good thing, 8-Ball, or terrible thing, is that you can only get these inks in France. I put together a group buy like 2 months ago, and so I have a set of samples from them. But yeah, you cannot buy this in the United States as of now. So if you have a friend in France that wants to sell it to you, or EU generally, you can order it from. But it's going to be cheapest in France. Yeah, it's also available in like Taiwan or like Japan. I think it's available in Japan. And then you can order it from Milligram in Australia, but then you're basically paying for the import fees. Like it's twice as expensive when you buy it from Australia because you're basically tacked onto the base price is the cost that it took to import it to Australia, which is not insignificant. So in France, these retail for like €19 a bottle. In Australia, it's like 44 Australian dollars or something like that. It's like ridiculous. She wants me to shut up because it's dark outside. And that's my actual text. Like, geez, my phone decides to go off the moment that while I'm streaming. Like, it didn't go off at all earlier today. Goes off while I'm streaming. Which is like after business, I don't know. What the fuck? Let me take care of that, April. It's probably because of the, It didn't ban you. It gave you a warning about spamming. Maybe you're like posting too frequently. Let me go look at the bot settings. Let me give you exception regular status 8-Ball. Because then it won't yell at you. Wait. There you go, 8-Ball. Now it won't yell at you. Yeah, I really like MooBot. It's really easy to use and has a good just system in general. Anyway, see you, 8-Ball. It's probably good that he's leaving because he can't see how really rich and dark this ink looks on the Rhodia. It's just like the Rhodia page always looks best in the stream for showing off the ink that I'm using. It just comes across best on the camera. I do all the other paper types just to see, so you know what it looks like on very white paper, on off-white paper, on cream paper, on shitty paper. But yeah, the stream my shitty webcam likes Rhodia the best. So yeah, you can see how that, it's quite gorgeous. Like I said, I don't really use black inks. I wouldn't get a bottle of this because I wouldn't use a bottle, but I'm definitely going to use the hell out of my sample that I have. Okay, so now for the shitty paper test. This is always a fun one. Yeah, sometimes you just want a good, like, black ink. And I'm feeling this right now. I'm like, oh, maybe I should, like, put a really dark ink in one of my pens because I'm enjoying this immensely. Where was I? I mean, I got one bottle of black too, and it's a good black. It's Noodler's black. I really like Noodler's black. It's a very good, well-performing black. But, like, and it's resistant to solvents. But yeah, black is one of those where there's not a lot of variety of shades, and you don't really want a variety of shades. Like, I want my black to just look like the abyss. So I don't need to collect all the blacks. So this already has a little bit worse, like, in the feathering department than the gray one does. And I have a feeling it's not going to be good when I flip this page over and see what the bleed through situation is like. Okay, time to flip this over and see what the damage is. I was expecting worse, quite frankly. Still not great, but I was expecting worse. Okay, so that finishes off this set. So yeah, you can see nothing does well on the wet pen, quite frankly. This is why I say when people are like, oh yeah, use fine nibs on shitty paper, I'm like, it depends on how much of a fire hose your fine pen is. This is the finest nib of the three, this wet pen, but it always does the worse. It more depends on dryness of the pen than it does the nib size. Okay, so now we're gonna empty out all the things. Okay, that was, of course, it's like, let me try and knock over this vial of very dark black ink all over your desk. That was almost a situation. Okay. So these can all go over here. So that's me writing down where it is in my boxes of samples. Gonna put this over to the side, and then we're gonna get to cleaning this. I do feel like doing at least at least one other ink. I might feel like doing 2 more inks depending on all this. So, cleaning setup. This is the dirty water from when I cleaned out the gray ink. Put the pencil over here somewhere. I'm gonna go rinse these off onto the sink real quick and then refill my jug, and I'll be right back. Okie dokie. I also grabbed myself a beer. Yay, beer. Okie dokie. Why am I trying to pull the nib out of that one? That is not the one I need to pull. Yeah, you can soak on your Okay, that'll go up there. Putting this up against the side of the bowl so I can see if it's actually running clear or not. And it's all already running pretty clear. I'm gonna do another flush just to be safe because the next ink is a very light pink. And so any little bit of contamination from a black ink is gonna really throw off the color. Aqua. I also need to take care of my bird. Be right back. Say hi, Akiwa. Say hi. Say hi. Okie dokie. Cool. Now, yeah, Aqua was sleeping in the blanket on my bed, which is behind me, which is where she was chirping from before. Then she just decided to come out and poop on the floor, and I was like, great. So needed to clean that up and put her in her cage. Look, it's swirling void. I just sprayed water all over the towel I put down for this exact situation. Yep, this is why you put down a towel when you're dealing with water in front of expensive electronics. But yeah, that actually cleaned out rather nicely. Okay. You can actually see in the rinses that there's a bit of a purple undertone to this black, which makes sense because it did feel like a cooler black. I do find that the more like Pit of Darkness blacks have a purple component. I don't know what it is about that purple that makes us think it's like a deeper true black, like a deeper black than an actual true black does. But that's fairly common, I find. Yeah, this cleaned out really easily. So I can definitively say, now this is the last one in the lineup of the 10 Jacques Herbin Les Essentiels inks, that the blues are the bitchiest to clean. Bleu Austral and Bleu de Minuit were just sticky. Especially Bleu de Minuit. That one was by far the hardest to clean. But Bleu Austral, actually, no, not by far the hardest to clean. Bleu Austral was right behind it unexpectedly. But yeah, those were not great for the cleaning. Then I'm going to do one more with this one. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I know Becky, I was saying earlier about like Brad did a stream like a couple months ago with cleaning pens. His water cleaning bowl looked like this. And he was like, yeah, this is fine. And I'm like, you don't run that water through your pens. What are you doing? At least rinse them completely afterwards with clean water. Nope, he just filled them straight with new inks. And I was like, this is terrible. Okay, so that's all clean. Okay. All my little pen parts. Yeah, gotta get the void inside the pen. The pen is only truly clean when it has the void inside of it. Silliness, Brad Dowdy, silliness. I gave him shit for it on the stream, too. And he was like, yeah, I know. This is why you have issues, Brad, sometimes. I was not expecting this beer to taste as good as it did. I just came off of a really hectic work week, so today is effectively my Saturday because of my work schedule, which is why I do the streams these days. And so, yeah, it's like, so I work as a private tutor, and it's finals week around here because the Georgia schools operate on a semester system usually. And so everyone was freaking out. So I worked a ton. I made a ton of money, but it also, like, it was a long week. So the beer is needed. And also this chill, like, just worrying about a stationary stream. And this guy almost fell nib down, but it landed in my lap. Versus on the floor. Ha. Okay, so now for something completely different. As much as I enjoyed doing all those Jacques Herbin inks, it was 10 in a row, and I like some variety in the inks I'm testing. So, and they were all fairly basic colors, even if some of them were gorgeous. So for variety now, we celebrated Christmas early in my family this year because of other conflicts over actual Christmas. So my mom got me just a bunch of samples from Van Ness that I gave her a wish list of a lot of them so she could pick out ones that she liked. But yeah, she got me like 10 samples. And so that's the ones we're doing now. And now we're doing Pen Sajiki Syurei, which is a little bit more vibrant and obnoxious than the webcam would suggest. It's got like a neonish quality to it. It's got like a low-key fluorescent quality, kind of like traffic cones. So that's why I was saying I want to make sure to get all the black ink dregs out of this, because that's going to fuck this up if there's any left. Oh, that looks just like so fun. This is why I love demos. This is so fun in the barrel. Don't you dare knock this sample over. This was an expensive sample. Even though I didn't pay for it, my mom did, and I respect my mom's finances. Okay. Yeah, you can just see even from the dregs, it's like dark, 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 bright, obnoxious. Okay. I'm gonna... No, I'm just gonna keep it. The pencil's a little duller than I normally like. But I'm like, I already sharpened it once on the stream. This is fine. Where did I put that? There it is. Okay, so let's see how this one does. After basically eons of using really well performing inks, and all of them are consistent how well they perform, we'll see. This is like now like roulette. How dry will it be? Okay. It's actually fairly usable in a dry fine pen. Look at that. It's a fairly wet ink. Which something this light needs to be wet, otherwise you basically can't use it in half your pens. So yeah, this is nice. Again, the like kind of vibrancy icier parts of it are not getting captured by the camera. Those really don't come through. Those are really hard to photograph. Don't come through in scans. Don't come through in photos. Just in general, it tends to be a real life thing you need to experience. But yeah, this is actually really readable and usable. Like, I was not expecting that. I was expecting it to be one that looked really cool in the swatch, but not really usable in writing. But it's actually really usable. I'm really happy with this. This is exciting, because it's a cool color. It's like a neon coral, like an actual neon coral. Not whatever Lami's version of neon coral was. Why did I write Waterman? This is a pilot. So I'm noticing that in the wet writer, just because there's more ink down on the page, it seems like you can see more of the orange component to this ink, because this is like a pinky orange coral. This is what I would consider a coral ink. And so in the regular and the dry pen, it looks very much more pink, but for some reason the orange component just leaps out at you more in the wet writer, which is really neat. Yeah, this is super pretty. Like I said, actually usable. Was not expecting that. Yeah, I keep looking up at my monitor and I'm like, oh damn, I really wish, like, it just looks so washed up out there. I don't know, for some reason putting my hand here makes it a little brighter. I don't know. But it's just, there's a vibrancy that's just so lost. Okay. So, I will say on the white paper, or this is off-white, but compared to the cream paper before, you see a lot more of the orange component, which is fairly common with orange, and with orange inks in particular, is that I've noticed they look a little bit more washed out on cream paper. Like, it's, for some reason, a very noticeable effect. Like, the cream counterbalances the vibrancy. So you can see a lot more of the orange component when you use a white or off-white paper. I'll also say there's really not much shading or anything at all going on in this one. That's probably a good thing, because my experience with lighter inks when they have a ton of shading is that they become illegible. It's just the change in darkness and everything, especially in finer pens, just makes your like eyes go cross-eyed, and it's just not doable. So the fact that it's just a consistent ink actually makes this a more usable ink for a lighter ink. Yeah, no sheen or anything either. Again, that can make your eyes go kind of bug-eye. It's a little weird. So I'm not liking this on shitty paper. It, for some reason, feels drier on this paper. I've experienced this before, where sometimes really well-flowing inks just get sucked up like a sponge into the paper, and like actually like suck up ink faster than it can move through the feed. Like I said, I've experienced this before, and so I think that's what's going on here. Okay, so let's see how this did on the shitty paper. Actually really good performance from the feathering side of things. Like, not even seeing much of anything in the wet pen, which normally is not the case. Let's see what the blade through situation looks like. Not terrible. Blade through's pretty bad with the wet pen, as to be expected. But other pens, it's doable, and the show through's not that bad because it's not a dark ink. Okay. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna clean out this. So, clean out the pens. And then I'm probably gonna, this is probably gonna be it. As I was writing it, I was realizing how hungry I was and, etc. So probably in the future, 2 inks is gonna be the max, but, there's not going to be a stream next week because that is Christmas Eve. I am going to be out of town. There's just a lot of stuff going on that day. But the biggest thing is I'm going to be out of town, so I will have access to like my desktop computer setup with which I do ink reviews. So it'll resume the week after that, which is New Year's Eve. I will be home for New Year's Eve, so we'll have a New Year's Eve little ink review party. And it'll be earlier in the afternoon. I'm not gonna like change the time just because it's New Year's Eve. So it'll be early enough that so if you have a party to get to, you will be able to do that. Cool. A little setup. It's like, oh right, the abyss. We did that earlier. Okay, so I'm gonna go get a refill of this and rinse these off. Be right back. Oh, I know Akiwa. Aqua's back. Say hi, Akiwa. She wants to go sleep with the blanket on my bed again. She needed a little detour, little cage time. She needs that occasionally. She needs a cage break, as I call it. She will get too excited about being out of her cage and like need basically nap time. Though she'll often more take a nap in my blanket than in her cage. But like just, it's like, oh, you're being hyperactive. Cool. Ooh. This has a cool sheen on top of the other inks. When the droplets go in the water, you can't see this. But it is there. If you will believe me, it's there. Oh yeah, this one cleans out real nice. I mean, this is to be expected. It's a really light ink, so there's not going to be much in the way of dregs in there anyway. So yeah, this looks real cool and sheeny, like on top of the dark inks in the bowl. It was like, ooh, weird mixing going on here. The ink itself doesn't have any sheen, but sometimes inks in the like rinse bowl situation get real weird. That happened with a diamine handle. Diamine handle was green, or not green, purple when I like flushed it because it's a purple ink, but on the camera things refracted to show it green on the camera even though it was purple in the bowl. It was really weird. Yeah, this is showing slightly more orange on the camera, but it's not doing anything weird like Handel did. Diamine Handel is just a weird ink. It's gorgeous, but it's weird. This has been surprisingly stickier in the barrel than I was expecting. Like, no, it's taking a lot more flushes to get out. Might not have gotten it all out of the sections in the feed. It's just, normally I can tell a lot better in my sink because my sink is white if there's still dregs in there or not in the feeds. Not as well with this whole portable situation. Okie dokie. So I see someone else just joined me and I'm sorry, but I'm pretty much done. Done for the night. I'm gonna go get some food. I might, so there's not gonna be a stream next Monday, like I said, because it's Christmas Eve. Got other shit to do. Also not gonna be in town, so I won't have access to my setup. I might, this is a very scant chance, might do a stream later in the week, because I don't have as many students. Like, my work schedule is a lot lighter this week because, like, students are going on break. So I'll have time to do a stream. I might also be doing frantic Christmassy things, like, last minute. So we'll see. Might be a stream later in the week, no stream next week. So next Monday stream is going to be 2 weeks from now, so New Year's Eve. Okay. Thank you for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed watching. And yeah, I'll see you, if not at the end of the week, at least in 2 weeks. Bye!